Hello everyone again. Our topic now is spinal cord injury. I said the most common cause of spinal cord injury is trauma. Okay. We have also non-traumatic causes, but the most common cause is trauma, and the most common cause of traumatic spinal cord injury, of course, is motor vehicular accident. Spinal cord injury can be complete or incomplete, and spinal cord injury. When you say complete, there is complete transection of the cord, so you lost all the function of the spinal cord below the level of the lesion. That incomplete, there is partial resection of the spinal cord. So some functions are lost, some functions are retained. Again, this is the picture of our spinal cord. Okay, and it's different branches. Ayan. And we said during the anatomy and physiology, di ba, sabi natin, we have the descending tracts and the ascending tracts. These are the ascending tracts. We have the dorsal columns that actually will bring the sensation of fine touch, proprioception, and vibration. The lateral spinothalamic and the ventral spinothalamic will actually carry the light touch, and then this one is for pain and temperature. Pag ascending tract, syempre, they will enter the spinal cord and go up there into the parietal lobe of the brain. Descending, they're actually coming from the brain, okay? And then they will be going to different parts of the body. Very important part of this class is what we call the cortico spinal tract that will actually supply the skeletal muscles. Siyempre, you have the blue here, ascending tracts. You also have here, di ba? Dito, we have the lateral corticospinal. We also have the lateral corticospinal tract on the other side. Okay, so this is our spinal cord. Sabi natin, the number one function is that it serves as the passage of tracts. Oh, so tandaan mo. So pag nagkaroon ka ng problem sa spinal cord, mawawala ba ang sensory function? Yes. Mawawala ba ang motor function? Yes, very good. So tatandaan natin yan ha. So pag alam mo kung saan nagkaroon ng injury, alam mo kung anong tracts ang affected. Okay, kung nasaan, whatever is the injury, okay, if you know the parts of your spinal cord, then you will see that alteration of function will happen there. Okay? All right. If you remember, I mentioned this already, okay, in the previous lecture. Sabi natin, sorry. Okay, sabi natin, if the spinal cord injury will happen above the level of C5, then the patient will have high tetraplegia or high quadriplegia. Very good. Then, if the level is in the C6, then the patient will have tetraplegia. At the level of T6, the patient will have high paraplegia from the waist below. And in the lumbar area, you have low paraplegia. Dinrowing ko to, di ba? Dun sa previous lecture natin. Yes? Okay. Alright. Sabi natin, ulit, balik. So, if you had transected the entire cord, you lost all motor and sensory function. Pinapakita ko ulit sa inyo what are the sensory and motor. Of course, these are the most important for our discussion. There are other descending tracts and ascending tracts there. Ha? Diba? We have 8 descending and then we have 6 ascending. But these are the most important. Ay, sorry. Ayan. What is the danger of spinal cord injury? What is the danger of spinal cord injury? The danger of spinal cord injury is one, spinal shock. Okay? So what is a spinal shock? Spinal shock happens when there is loss of all spinal cord function. Loss of all spinal cord function. Okay? So let us see how it happens, ha? Drawing tayo, ha? Drawing tayo. Okay? Suppose this is the brain, okay? And this is your spinal cord. All right? Okay. All right. Now, suppose there is lesion at the level of T6. At the level of T6. Okay. So this is the level of T6. Okay. Okay. There is injury to the level of T6. Whatever is causing the injury class, kahit ano pa yan. Basta there is injury to the level of T6. Okay, so what happened? Nasaksak, nabarel, kahit ano pa yan. Okay? So that injury will cause inflammation. The injury will cause inflammation. Okay? Okay, so the injury will cause inflammation. The injury class is what we call the primary injury. This is whatever has caused the injury that is caused the primary injury. Okay? Primary yan. Primary. Okay? Then, when it resulted to the inflammation, that is what we call secondary injury. Secondary. Bakit? Bakit? If there is inflammation class, the inflammation affects not only the area of injury, but inflammation affects the entire cord. Inflammation affects the entire cord. In the primary injury, this is only the site. But in the secondary injury, when there is inflammation or swelling, it causes swelling of the entire cord. Again, this will cause swelling of the entire cord. Okay, so this is your secondary injury. When the entire cord has become swollen already, then you cause loss, loss of all spinal cord function. The loss of all spinal cord function is what we actually call spinal shock. Is this dangerous? Is this dangerous? Yes, very good. Why and how? Okay, listen very well, okay? If there is inflammation of the entire cord, you lost all the function of the spinal cord, right? No motor, no sensory. Do we also affect the autonomic nervous system, class? Yes, very good. Okay. If you remember, okay, the cranial nerve and the sacral nerve, okay? If you remember, the cranial nerve and the sacral nerve, this will make up our parasympathetic nervous system. The cranial nerves and the sacral nerves will make up the parasympathetic nervous system. And what cranial nerves will participate to form the parasympathetic nervous system? Cranial nerves number 9, number 10, 10, 9, 7, and 3. 10, 9, 7, 3. Para maalala mo yan, 1973. 10, 9, 7, and 3. And you know what? It is cranial nerve number 10 that it actually carries 75% of parasympathetic nervous system. I think I mentioned this before to you, di ba? 75% of your parasympathetic is carried by cranial nerve number 10. Di ba? Sabi ko, if you say vagal stimulation, it's just like saying parasympathetic stimulation. Okay? And the thoracic nerve, and the lumbar nerve, the thoracic nerve and the lumbar nerve will make up the sympathetic nervous system. The thoracic nerve and the lumbar nerve will make up the sympathetic nervous system. The thoracic nerve and the lumbar nerve will make up the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? Makinig mabuti ha. In spinal shock, you lost all the function of the spinal cord. No motor function, no sensory function. Listen. Do we also lose the function of the sacral nerve? Yes, very good. Do you also lose the function of the lumbar nerves? Yes. Do you also lose the function of the thoracic nerves? Yes. Do you lose the function of the cranial nerves? Cranial nerves. Very good. No, because cranial nerves are coming from the brain. So cranial nerves are not affected. And if I and if you remember what I said, 75% of parasympathetic is innervated by cranial nerve number 10. Therefore, the parasympathetic is not fully affected, correct? So the parasympathetic stays there. There is parasympathetic there. Parasympathetic is intact. But the sympathetic nervous system is lost. You decrease the sympa. If you decrease the sympa, then you enhance the para effect. So in patients with spinal shock, bababa ang sympa, tataas ang para. So what will happen to your patient? The patient will have increase or decrease heart rate. The patient will have walang simpa, no sympathetic innervation. So what is the effect on the heart rate? There is decreased heart rate. There is decreased heart rate. Tandaan mo to. This is the type of shock, the only type of shock with bradycardia. Okay? Bakit? Walang simpa. Walang simpa. Parasympathetic. So decrease heart rate. Vasoconstrict or vasodilate. Walang simpa. Parasympathetic. So the patient will have vasodilation. Decrease na ang heart rate, nagva-vasodilate pa class, what do you think will happen to blood pressure? Very good. There will be decreasing blood pressure. Very good. Pwedeng mag-shock? Yes, very good. And that type of shock is called very good. Neurogenic shock. Okay. Neurogenic shock is a type of a circulatory shock. May tatlo tayong types ng shock. Pag mababa ang blood volume, hypovolemic. Pag hindi nagpapump ang heart, cardiogenic. Okay. If there is severe vasodilation, that's circulatory shock. And one type of a circulatory shock is a spinal cord injury. You call it neurogenic shock. And neurogenic shock is called the peculiar type of shock kasi sa lahat ng mga shock, ito lang ang bumababa ang heart rate. Bakit bumaba ang heart rate? Wala kang simpa. Did you get it? Yes, very good. Class, in some books, they use the neurogenic shock and the spinal shock interchangeably. That's okay. No problem with that. Okay? So yung iba ang tawag nila spinal shock, yung iba ang tawag nila neurogenic shock. Eh, delikado ba yung shock? Ay malamang. What do you mean when you say shock? Shock is actually a condition characterized by inadequate tissue perfusion. Inadequate tissue perfusion. Can this lead to multi-organ function? Yes, bababa ang heart rate, bababa ang BP, magbavasodilate, wala kasing simpa. And this is the only type of shock that will have warm and dry skin. Bakit? Wala ngang simpa and the sympathetic is responsible for diaphoresis. Diba? Is this dangerous? Definitely. So what is the danger of having spinal shock? I'm sorry, what is the danger of having spinal cord injury? Okay, very good. Neurogenic shock or spinal shock. So pag may nakita kang isang tao na naaksidente, 'di ba? Huwag mo muna gagalawin kasi baka mamaya lalong ma-injure kapag meron siyang spinal cord injury, 'di ba? You have to be very very careful in moving these people, correct? Correct, very good. So anong priority mo doon, ma'am? Eh malamang airway because the phrenic nerve, di ba, may be affected by spinal cord injury. Airway pa rin ang priority, breathing pa rin ang priority, and circulation because these patients are susceptible to develop shock. That is the danger of spinal cord injuries. Learning? Yes, rise to the top. Continue learning. Okay, so what are the different diagnostic tests? What are the different diagnostic tests? Actually ngayon, Ngayon, okay, madali na eh. Because MRI can definitely see what's the problem in the spinal cord. Or CT scan can also identify, especially if this is trauma, you can easily see that, di ba? Okay. Seldom they are using myelogram or myelography. Myelography is putting a medium contrast into the spinal cord in identifying tumors, lesions in the spinal cord. But this is somewhat invasive. Okay? Gagamit pa ng dye. Samantalang CT scan and MRI, they're enough to see what is happening in the spinal cord. Right? Okay, very good. And how do we manage? Management tayo ha. Pag nag-manage tayo class ng spinal cord, spinal shock or neurogenic shock, this is also the general management for spinal cord injuries. Okay? Okay, very good. So sige, game ta tayo sa management. I will erase this now. Magsulat ka. Okay. Tignan natin yung next. Dito na lang. Okay. So management, this is also the management for spinal cord injuries, ha? So anong gagawin natin? Nakita mo yung pasyente na aksidente, 'di ba? Huwag mong gagalawin, 'di ba? Kasi baka lalong magka-problem, 'di ba? They are pushing this law in Congress. They call it the Eddie Garcia bill. You know what happened to Mr. Eddie Garcia, right? Okay, the accident, he had an accident, and apparently the improper pag-move sa kanya, improper ano tawag doon? Pagbuhat sa kanya para dalhin sa ospital, yun, it has caused severe damage to the spinal cord. Actually, it affected C1 and C2. My God, ang taas. So the patient was hooked to a mechanical ventilator, and at 90 years old, you cannot survive that. Okay. So, kailangan anong gagawin mo pag may nakita kang ganyan? Immobilize. Huwag mong gagalawin. You have to wait until the EMS is there. You have to put a cervical collar there and protect kasi you prevent, you do not want to have further damage. Prevent further damage. So, first, you have to immobilize. Okay? Tapos, anong priority mo? The airway, di ba? Yan. Airway is your priority. So you have to assess for the airway, assess for the breathing. Ma'am, nakakahinga naman po siya. Okay naman po yung airway niya. O, sige, suppose ha, okay naman po yung breathing niya. O, okay naman daw yung breathing niya. Okay. Okay, so anong gagawin ulit natin? And the patient is having spinal shock. Hindi siya gumagalaw from the neck below. Okay? Okay ang airway ha. Okay ang breathing ha. Okay. So anong bibigyan natin? Anong gagawin natin? Ano ba problema natin? May inflammation. Correct? So anong gagawin natin? The patient will be given anti-inflammatory drug. And the drug of choice here is, very good, the patient will be given massive doses of steroids. The steroids are anti-inflammatory. And what is the steroid of choice? We have methylprednisolone. We have methylprednisolone. Okay, this is our steroid of choice. Why? We have inflammation. So anong gusto kong gawin? I want to decrease the swelling. I want to decrease inflammation. So I give methylprednisolone or steroids. Pag alam mo ang problema, alam mo kung bakit ka nagbibigay ng gamot, di ba? Sabi sa pharma. Okay. Ano pa? Ano pa ba problema natin? Ma'am, ang problema natin, vasodilate. Nag-dilate lahat ng mga blood vessels. Ano gusto kong gawin? Gusto kong mag-vasoconstrict ang mga blood vessels. So anong gagawin mo? You will be giving them vasopressors. What is the effect? Vasoconstrict. 'Di ba? Bagsak nga yung simpa, 'di ba? Hindi magko-constrict ang blood vessel. Wala nang gumagan yung simpa. So magbigay ka ng gamot para mag-constrict ang mga blood vessel at ma-stimulate yung mga receptors na hindi gumagana dahil sira yung simpa. We give vasopressors to increase blood pressure. Okay? Ano pa? Ano pa problema natin? Problema natin, ma'am, ang taas ng para, bagsak ang simpa. At dahil mataas ang para, bumababa yung heart rate. Do we need to increase the heart rate? Yes. Ano gagawin mo? Ang gagawin natin, edi bagsak natin ang para. We give a drug that will block the parasympathetic. Anong tawag doon? Anticholinergic drug. Very good. The drug that will decrease the parasympathetic. What is the effect? This will block the parasympathetic. What is the effect? The effect is decrease heart rate. Ay, sorry. If you block the parasympathetic, so you increase heart rate. If you cause vasoconstriction, you increase BP. If you block the parasympathetic, you increase heart rate. Okay. We give steroids to decrease the swelling. We give vasopressors to cause vasoconstriction. We give anticholinergic drug to increase heart rate. And one most important at kilalang kilala mo na anticholinergic drug that will increase heart rate, of course, is atropine sulfate, di ba? Yes, atropine sulfate. And then, number 5, okay. The patient had trauma, di ba? So most of these patients will have to undergo surgery. The patient should undergo surgery. And most of them, they undergo laminectomy. They need to remove the lamina that is causing compression of the spinal cord. Hindi naman tinatanong sa atin how is laminectomy being done. But the most common question to nurses is after laminectomy, you have to move the patient as one unit. Hindi pwedeng pa isa-isang part ang nagmo-move. We have to move the patient as one unit. Ang tawag natin doon ay, what do we call that? What do you call that technique when you move the patient as one unit? Very good. Masagot ka dyan. Log rolling technique. Okay. You move the patient as one unit. Hindi pwedeng hindi siya i-move as one unit. Okay. And then of course, the patient has to undergo massive rehabilitation therapy. Massive rehabilitation therapy. Ma'am, question. Can this happen also to patients with incomplete spinal cord injury? The answer is yes. Spinal shock usually happen to patients with spinal cord injury at the level of T6 and above. At the level of T6 and above. Kahit incomplete pa yan, basta T6 and above. And during this time, you do not know if this is complete or incomplete, di ba? Kasi may swelling pa eh. When the swelling subsides, okay, and you will see now, if some functions are still there, maybe this is just incomplete. So this may happen if the patient had spinal cord injury at the level of T6 and above. Are we learning here? Yes. Okay. Again, pag may question, paratingin nyo sa mga teachers ninyo, tapos paparatingin sa akin yan ng mga teachers niyo. Okay? All right. Very good. Now, ma'am, if the patient had survived already the neurogenic shock, okay na siya? Hindi eh. There is another life-threatening event that may happen after the patient survived the spinal shock. Okay? Ano nga yun? Ano nga yung isa pang life-threatening condition na yan? This life-threatening condition is called autonomic dysreflexia. What is autonomic dysreflexia? Autonomic dysreflexia is an exaggerated autonomic response. Exaggerated autonomic response. Okay? Ang OA ng autonomic nervous system, secondary to or in response to a stimulus. Exaggerated autonomic response to a stimulus. Ma'am, ano yung stimulus? Eto na ngayon. Okay? Actually, that stimulus is anything. Any stimulus that may be uncomfortable stimulus or painful stimulus or anything that may cause discomfort. Okay? Kahit ano pwede. Yes. Kaya lang, sa mga nursing books, laging sinasabi, the most common stimulus. What is the most common stimulus for autonomic dysreflexia? It is either bladder distension or bowel distension. Kasi 'di ba kapag may spinal cord injury, may bowel and bladder dysfunction, right? Okay, and this bladder and bowel distension can cause discomfort to your patient, and that is one most common cause of autonomic dysreflexia. Pero pwede rin yung iba. Pwede rin daw yung pain, o kaya any stimulus not necessarily noxious. But in nursing books, and we are in the nursing education, the most common is bladder distension and bowel distension. This is the reason why an important nursing intervention for patients taking care of, for nurses taking care of patients with spinal cord injury is always assess if the bladder is full. So you have to catheterize the bladder, diba, as ordered, or ma'am, question, can we do bladder training to patients with spinal cord injury? Yes. Bladder training is simply, you have to have a schedule of urination. So if the patient needs to be catheterized to be able to urinate, you have to have a schedule of your straight catheterization. Catheterize every three hours or 2 to 3 hours, catheterize every 4 hours. That is already a bladder training. And with bowel distension, we prevent this with the use of laxatives. That's why patients with spinal cord injury, we give them laxatives. Yes, okay, para hindi magkaroon ng bowel distension. Now, question. This is life-threatening, yes. So what could be the clinical manifestations? Okay, drawing tayo ulit, ha? Drawing tayo ulit. Okay, so this is your brain. Ayan, this is your spinal cord. Okay, and autonomic dysreflexia also happens if there is injury to the level of T6 and above. If there is injury to the level of T6 and above. All right? Okay. Autonomic dysreflexia happens. This will happen usually within. I did not say after. I did not say after. I said within. Okay. I did not say before. I said within. Within 6 months after the patient survive. After the patient survive survived spinal shock or neurogenic shock. So it will happen within 6 months. So it can happen in the hospital, it can happen in the rehabilitation clinic, it can happen at home, it can happen in the home care within 6 months. Okay? I did not say after or before, I said within. All right? Okay, so what happens now? Di ba wala ng neurogenic shock? The patient survived the neurogenic shock. So swelling already subsides. If the swelling already subside, this upper portion is not swollen anymore. Will this upper portion regain its function? Yes, very good. So what is now lost are the functions below the level of the lesion. Again, the functions that are lost are those that are below the level of the lesion. Ito wala na. Dead na ma'am. Oo, dead na. Okay, so class, let's go back and see what happens to the autonomic nervous system. The cranial nerve and the sacral nerve will make up the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, then we have the thoracic nerve and the lumbar nerve will make up the sympathetic nervous system. Thoracic nerve and the lumbar nerve will make up the sympathetic. This time, class. Okay? This time. Sabi natin kanina, di ba? The sacral nerves, we have lost its function. But 75% of parasympathetic is not coming from sacral nerve. It is coming from cranial nerve number 10. So the parasympathetic function is intact. The lumbar nerve is lost, but the thoracic nerves are now functioning. Therefore, the sympathetic regains its function. Parasympathetic has a function, sympathetic has a function now. Both are functioning again. You're following? Yes, okay. How come autonomic dysreflexia will happen? Or listen, ha? What is the most common stimulus? The most common stimulus is bladder distension. All right? Okay. The bladder distension class will cause discomfort, correct? And this will stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. And what is autonomic dysreflexia? Exaggerated response. Ang OA ng sympathetic, so there is an exaggerated response ng sympathetic. Anong response ng sympathetic? There is severe vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction. So blood vessels constrict. Pag nag-constrict ang blood vessels, what will happen? Very good. There is increased blood pressure. Hypertension is a sign of autonomic dysreflexia. Okay? Hypertension is a sign of autonomic dysreflexia. Is this dangerous? Definitely. If you do not control hypertension, baka ma-stroke pa yung pasyente mo. Kawawa naman, may spinal cord injury na, na-stroke pa. Oo nga. Oh, what will happen now? The increased blood pressure class will stimulate the baroreceptors. The baroreceptors are special cells that will detect changes in blood pressure. So when these baroreceptors detect that there is increasing blood pressure, the baroreceptors will send signal to the brain. Sabi niya, hey brain, the BP is high. You have to do something about this. Diba? Okay. And the brain should have, okay, the brain must dapat send signal. This brain should be sending signal to the spinal cord to relieve the bladder distension. Dapat iihi siya, di ba? Kaso, hindi nga makapasok dito. Bakit hindi makapasok? Ay lockdown. Sira na nga yun. O, di ba? O, correct. So, what will happen? Now, the brain will divert its innervation to the parasympathetic. Hindi ako makapasok dito. Parasympathetic, ikaw na nga. Ayan. So, it stimulates the parasympathetic. Ay, ano nga yung ginagawa ng autonomic nervous system? Exaggerated response. So, the parasympathetic will also have exaggerated response trying to decrease your blood pressure. So, the patient will have what? Decreased heart rate. Bradycardia. Kanina sa neurogenic shock, bumababa ang BP, bumababa ang heart rate. Ngayon, tumataas ang BP, bumababa ang heart rate. Okay? Okay, ano pa? Ay, hindi pa tapos ang parasympathetic. The parasympathetic will cause vasodilation in the upper portion of the body. Kasi nga cranial nerve number 10, upper portion of the body, di ba? This is the reason why there is vasodilation. There is flushing of face. In the head area, there is nasal congestion. Pati yung mga nose na blood vessel nag-congest, nag-dilate, kaya nagkaroon ng nasal congestion. Bradycardia, vasodilation, nasal congestion, yan yung mga exaggerated response. Ma'am, dito ma'am, vasoconstriction lang, hindi, sympathetic innervates the sweat gland, so the patient may have diaphoresis. Nagkakagulo yung simpa tsaka para. Exaggerated response. Is this dangerous? Yes. Do we need to treat? Yes. Very good. What do we call this condition? Autonomic dysreflexia. Okay. Or this is also being referred to as autonomic hyperreflexia. Alam nyo, minsan yung mga patient daw, sumisipa-sipa, pati paa sumisipa. Akala tuloy ng mga kamag-anak, gumaling na kasi nagagalaw na rin yung paa. But actually, it's not. It's just a reflex. Okay? So this is one danger of spinal cord injury which we call autonomic dysreflexia. Learning? Yes, very. Sanay na ako. Okay, keep on learning, class. Okay, how do we manage? I will erase the board now. And the management for autonomic dysreflexia. Sabi natin, the most important is prevention. O how do you prevent? Siyempre, bladder training, bowel training. It is simply scheduling the time of elimination, ha? Hindi mo tuturuan mag-isa yung bladder, hindi na nga pwede. O you can catheterize. Okay, catheterize as scheduled. As scheduled. Or give laxatives. Yan. Para hindi magkaroon ng bowel or bladder distension. Okay? O paano ma'am? Nung minonitor mo yung pasyente mo, ay ang taas na ng BP, bumababa ng heart rate, and you are already seeing signs and symptoms. Ay, naku, i-manage na natin. So what is your priority? Seeing patients with hypertension and bradycardia and possible autonomic dysreflexia. Anong unang gagawin ng nurse? Position. Position the patient high Fowler's. High Fowler's position to cause pooling of blood pababa. Okay, para bumaba rin ang blood pressure. Makinig ka ha. Yung iba, baka sa makikita mo sa sabihin, empty the bladder, empty the bowel. Okay lang yun. Sinabi ko na nga sa number 1 eh. Diba? Pero ang sinasabi ko, if there is already severe hypertension, ay teka muna. I-position mo muna, di ba? Bago ka mag-empty-empty. Okay? Yung iba naman kasi, ma'am, sabi, upon empty of the bowel and bladder, bababa na yung BP eh. Yeah, I know. Kaya nga number 1 ko yun eh. Diba? Huwag mo na nga intayin eh. Ngayon, kung meron at mataas ang BP, i-manage natin na yung BP na mataas, may mangyayari, bababa yan. So, positioning. Independent intervention din naman yan. Did you get my point? Yes, okay. Position your patient, high Fowler's, okay. Lagay ko na rito yung gusto natin. Empty the bowel or bladder. Pero class, hindi lang yan ang cause. Can there be other causes? Yes. Yan lang nga yung most common. Now, if the hypertension is not relieved by positioning, we can give our patient anti-hypertensive drugs. Talagang binibigay sila ng anti-hypertensive. Oo, para bumaba yung BP. At para tumaas yung heart rate, bibigyan din natin ng anti-cholinergic drugs. Pero sabi nga nila, if we remove the source already, lalo na kung bowel at bladder distension lang naman yan, bumabalik na yung BP sa dati. But the danger, of course, is the complication that can be brought about by hypertension. Learning ka? Rise to the top. Keep on learning, ha? Keep on learning. Just keep on learning every day. Huwag ka na mag-complain na maraming ginagawa. Just keep on learning. Okay? So this is our autonomic dysreflexia, especially seen in patients with spinal cord injury at the level of T6 and above. We know the diagnostic test and we know how to manage already. Now, I'm showing again the cross-section of the spinal cord. Papakita ko ulit, these are the ascending tracts. No? We have the dorsal columns, the lateral, and the ventral spinothalamic tract. We have the most important, the motor tract, the lateral, and the anterior or ventral corticospinal tract. Bakit ko ito pinapakita? Because we will be talking about incomplete spinal cord injury. So if there is incomplete spinal cord injury, not all of this is affected. Not all are affected. Some are affected. Parts are affected. Okay? Okay. These are the most common incomplete spinal cord injury. We have the central cord syndrome. Only the central portion is affected. So this function of this part is altered while the others are not affected. Okay? Or we have the anterior cord syndrome. And this part are affected while there are functions that are remain. Or the Brown Sequard syndrome, this is also called the lateral cord syndrome when one part of the spinal cord is affected. Okay, this is what they call hemisection of the cord. These are the most common. Actually, ito lang ang na kay Brunner and Sodart kasi common to. Pero meron pa actually dalawa. Isa na lang ang dinagdag ko dito. The posterior cord syndrome. The only affected portion are the dorsal column. This is not common, but it can happen. The patient is not paralyzed. The one that is lost are the proprioception. Okay? Kasi yun ang kinikerry ng dorsal column. But this is not common. Okay? Okay, let's start with the central cord syndrome. Most common cause of central cord syndrome is hyperextension syndrome. That's hyperextension, usually at the level of C cervical area. Kasi this is the most movable part. Diba? Okay. So ano lang yung na-apektuhan? The central portion of the spinal cord is affected. Okay? Now, the characteristic clinical manifestation class is the patient is more weak. Weaker ang upper extremity than lower extremity. Why? Because the motor tracts that are actually supplying the upper extremity are located in the more central portion, and those tracts that are supplying the lower extremity are located in the more lateral portion. So these patients class, we call them the walking paralyzed. Weaker ang upper kesa sa lower extremity. What is the most common cause? Hyperextension injury. This is what? This is called central cord syndrome. Okay? All right. So, this is due to hyperextension. Again, sinabi ko na, disproportional greater upper extremity, upper limb weakness. Sensory loss is usually minimal. Some control over the bowel and bladder, and recovery is possible. Look at this in the lower portion. Tignan mo yung corticospinal tract. The inner portion or yung nasa central portion supplies most of the upper limb, at yung nasa lower limb, yung nandun sa outermost. Kaya hindi masyadong affected. Diba? Incomplete. What is the most common cause? Hyperextension. Common problem, where is the more common problem? Spine, cervical spine. That's the most movable. Okay. Then we have the anterior cord syndrome. Obviously, it is the anterior portion of the spinal cord is affected. And what tract is in the anterior cord? There is anterior corticospinal. There is anterior spinothalamic. So there is loss of voluntary motor, pain and temperature below the level of the lesion. Below the level of the lesion. Diba? Retains posterior column, the sensation of touch, position, vibration, and motion. Kasi nandito yun sa dorsal portion. This dun sa, tama, posterior portion. Ito yung anterior, di ba? Or ventral. Affected, di ba? Ayan. Anterior cord syndrome is most common caused by hyperflexion. Kanina, hyperextension. Ngayon, hyperflexion injuries. Okay? Then we have the lateral cord syndrome. The most common cause of this is gunshot wound, stabbing, ayan. So half of this is affected. It is called Brown-Séquard because it was studied very well by Brown and Séquard, and they were the ones to first recognize the clinical manifestations, diba? There is loss of motor function, vibration, position, the same side. O kasi si spinal cord, kapag motor, same side na yan, di ba? Dorsal column, same side. Ipsilateral yan eh. Diba? Pero yung pain and temperature, remember I told you, yung pain and temperature sa right side, papasok sa spinal cord, magko-cross doon sa kabilang side, at saka aakyat. Diba? Okay. So the loss of pain and temperature is on the opposite side. Galing yun sa kabila. Hindi galing dito yun. Galing siya sa kabila, hindi siya makapunta doon sa other side. Did you get it? Again, there is loss of motor function, vibration, same side, same side. Corticospinal, dito, same side, same side. Dorsal column, same side. But the spinothalamic that will carry pain and temperature, opposite. Bakit? Anong sabi ko sa iyo? Papasok sa kanan ang pain and temperature. Pagpasok sa spinal cord, it will cross on the other side and then go up to the brain. Right? Yes, very good. The Brown-Seer cord is also called lateral cord syndrome. Okay. Posterior cord, I said this is not very common. The damage is towards at the back of the spinal cord. There is good muscle power, pain, and temperature sensation. But there is difficulty in coordinating movement. Bakit? Ano function niya? Proprioception. Position sense. Nakakagalaw ka nga, wala kang ng paralysis. But there is problem on the sense of positioning. Diba? So, mahirapang mag-coordinate ang movement. Okay. But the most common, of course, are the following. We have the Brown-Sequard syndrome, most common cause, penetrating trauma, gunshot wound, stabbing. Again, clinical manifestation, same side, ipsilateral loss of motor, vibratory proprioception, and contralateral loss of temperature and pain. There is an excellent prognosis, 99% becomes ambulatory at final follow-up. Plus, this patient will have to undergo massive rehabilitation. Kailangan magpa-rehabilitate. Central cord hyperextension mechanism, sensory and motor deficits, more in upper than lower. Anong tawag sa kanila? We call them the very good. We call them the walking paralyzed. Most have moderate but incomplete recovery. The worst is the anterior cord syndrome. This is called by hyperflexion injury. There is bilateral loss of motor function, pain, and temperature below the level of the lesion. Same side, ma'am? Yes, same side. Because the entire anterior portion, the right and left, are affected. So both will be affected. However, you spare the proprioception, vibration, sensation. Kasi di ba, nandun yan sa posterior. This is the one with the poorest prognosis, about 10 to 20% chance of motor recovery. I said they need to undergo rehabilitation. Yung posterior cord, they are not really very common. Meron pa sila yung tinatawag nilang cauda equina syndrome, yung tail lang ng spinal cord ang affected. Again, that is not very common. These three are the most common incomplete spinal cord injuries. Ma'am, do we also give them steroids? Yes. Okay. Can they also undergo surgery? Yes. Do we do bladder and bowel training if that is affected as well? Yes. Do we need to provide safety in spinal cord injury patients? Yes. Do we need to prevent skin breakdown? Of course, paralyzed to. And the nursing diagnosis for patients who cannot move includes the risk for complication, risk for bed sores, risk for UTI, risk for pneumonia. Lahat yun gagawin. Diba? Yes, very good. So this is your spinal cord injury. Did you learn something today? I hope so. Thank you for listening. Keep on learning. Bye.